happy Thursday, April 22nd of 2021. We're in a very different place to what we were a year ago, thank the Lord. COVID is continuing to move in the right direction, which is down, and our days are getting longer. It's a sunny day today, but it's still very chilly outside, so but we'll just look out the window today. But what the exciting part today is that I have Dr. Rob Gruttadauria joining us. Rob, it is awesome to have you with us.
Thanks for having me today. Excited to be here. And yeah, excited to talk about some nutrition, meal prep, and some of the success I've had with that over the past year or so, pretty much.
That's great. Well, for those who are unaware, Rob's been with us, I don't even know how many years yet. He was a student with us. He was a rock star.
Almost 10.
Almost 10 years. So it's almost a decade. So Rob was a student with us and evolved into actually a real live physical therapist, and ultimately took over as the clinic director at our East Side clinic. So leads that, as well as hosting and teaching a lot of our professional development, our dry needling certification, and a whole lot more. So you have a wonderful reputation. You have a lot of followers in the community, not just for rehabbing and treating injuries, but also for helping people optimize their performance. And given the unprecedented year that we've just had and the hope that we have for the future, we've all learned a lot. So why don't you start with some of the lessons that you've learned through the pandemic, and maybe what excites you about the future?
Yeah, well, having 2 kids at home, a 2-year-old boy, 8-month-old girl, learned just a lot about being a dad and learning how to live on little sleep. And so that's been the big change for me. So I've been very distracted during the pandemic between work and that. So it's been that's been a good distractions for me. You know, the biggest thing I've definitely learned and taken away is that, you know, the interactions with family and friends are super important for our health and our well-being, and that, you know, I'm really looking forward to those interactions again, back to the way they used to be. So those are the big things I've kind of learned. The other thing I've learned is that, you know, sleep, nutrition. I've definitely changed some of my habits during this time. So some of that I'm here today to talk to you guys about.
Well, isn't it amazing here, and also not only dealing with work and your professional life, but a dad with 2 very little kids. All the credit to you. I am sure it's been an extra challenging year. I have teenagers. I thought that was bad enough, but I don't really have to do anything to take care of them. They're pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
All right. So for people who are listening today, please, I see that Alicia Bates is here. If there are other people out there listening, please let us know you're here. We will put an extra entry in our drawing, because today we are giving away a Hypervolt GO. This is a $199 value. Rob's going to speak about it a little bit later, about how you use it post-workout, how it can help with soft tissue, soreness, pain, etc., etc. It's a really great tool to add into the things that you use at home. So you can also sign up, see below, performanceptri.com/live, sign up, and you'll go on the drawing every week. So we are meeting every Thursday at 1 o'clock from now and through to the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. And we give away from Hypervolts to clothing. Next week it's a Yeti. So all sorts of things that help you be the healthiest you can in time for the summer solstice. So nice to see some new people coming along. Carlos, Priya Banerjee.
Hey, Carlos. AC Conk Street.
And I would add in, for all of you people, if you have questions for Rob, this is a perfect time to ask them, especially when it comes to nutrition. I know that Rob has spent a lot of time and work on dealing with nutrition and how it optimizes health, performance, whether you're an athlete or not. And those are some of the tricks and things we're going to hear about today. So let's start, Rob. Where should we start? Let's start with those people who are out there saying, you know, nutrition or meal prep. Meal prep, something I know that we're going to touch on. Why don't we start with that? Let's start with that common issue and I'm going to dive right in with my own question, actually, that I hear many people ask. I go to work each day, whether I work remotely or at home. I deal with managing lunches. You know, how do I do that? How do I set myself up for success so it's not 11:30 and I'm sitting at my desk going, oh no, I almost swore then, holy crap, I forgot to bring lunch. I'm going to have a piece of pizza. How do we prevent that from happening?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of steps to take to be proficient at prepping your lunch every week. And I think it really starts with knowing what your body specifically needs. So that means your first step is probably to speak with an expert, which would be a nutritionist. You know, a nutritionist is going to help you to just break down what's most important and let you know why do we even eat food? Food is just fuel, and the right combinations of the foods that we eat are going to make us feel the best. And that's going to be different for every person based on their activity level, their job, their sport, whatever it might be, it's going to be different. So that's the first step, is to, you know, speak with an expert, because they're going to help you to basically break down your macronutrient needs. And macronutrients are carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Those three are basically going to give you the fuel you need to go throughout your day. And there's different combinations of those three: carbs, proteins, and fats, that are going to work best for you. And it's all based on percentages. So for me, I do about 25 to 35% carbohydrate. I do like 40% protein, 20 to 30% fat. And that may vary, but I think, you know, I think, again, it's going to be specific to you and your activity level. But your nutritionist will help you figure out what the best is for you. The best way to know where you're at currently is to get an app that will let you know, what you're taking in currently. So the easiest way is to get some kind of an app that will help you track the food that you eat. What I use is called MyFitnessPal. This app is really easy to use. You can scan barcodes from different foods that you eat. It has preset foods, different fruits, vegetables, whatever you eat. Basically, you plug it in for lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your different snacks. And at the end of the day, it will show you those percentages of where you're getting those different macronutrients from. So using a food tracking app would be your next step to know where you're at currently. To get back to your question, once you have all of those kind of specifics as to what your body needs, you're going to have to plan. You're going to have to do a ton of planning in terms of shopping, in terms of cooking. So with the shopping, I take one day a week. I usually do Fridays or Saturdays where I do my shopping. I have a whole shopping list set up, and I basically get that done. Different apps to get your shopping done. I use the Amazon Alexa app. Basically, you can just ask Alexa to add a certain food to your shopping list, and throughout the week, she'll just add the food. So when you get to the market, basically you'll have that list ready to go. There are certain apps that speak to Alexa that will give you a whole like if you're trying a new recipe, it will put all the ingredients right into Alexa. just hit a button and all right, I found this new recipe. I know that Food Network Kitchen app does that. So you can look, you can ask to, all right, give me a crock pot chicken app, and you can hit add to my shopping list and it will just add it to your shopping list. So instead of writing all of it down, that simplifies it. That makes it easy. So now I'm at the market and I have a list all ready to go. There's some other apps too. I've used List Ease, decent app. Again, it just, you plug it in and you got a shopping list ready to go. When you're in the market, you can click it. It'll check the boxes and take it away. So at the end, you make sure you're not missing anything on your list. And you go home and you get all your food ready for your meal prep.
Wow, I'm going to summarize because you've given out so many great points, which I'm writing notes for myself. I think the biggest, first of all, that we're hearing is that if you really care about your nutrition and want to feel the best you can, you have to plan for that. Just like if you want to have a good education, you've got to plan out your education. Just like if you want to have a successful day at work, if you want to have a good night's sleep, you've got to plan and have intention and be mindful. It's the same when it comes to nutrition. It's not a matter of like, oh my goodness, we've got no food in the fridge, let me run to the supermarket, which I think we all know is when you do that, you arrive at the supermarket, you'll be like, oh my God, I hate the supermarket because I arrive, I don't know what I'm going to cook, I don't know what I'm going to make. You buy stuff that you never use, it creates more stress. And then we go like, well, why don't I just order more takeout? And so we see how easily it is to fall into those habits that we are not quite as good for our health. But you're telling me some great tips here is I really like the thought of the apps for getting that list together. I've never used that. I always use pen and paper. The Food Network, looking at those recipes, here's what we've got. So when you go to the market, you don't have to think, what am I going to buy? You go there and you can enjoy the experience of going to the market and picking out the tomatoes that look the best rather than going, do I even need tomatoes? Like turn the shopping experience into something that is actually can be pleasant rather than this hot, this experience of uncertainty and not knowing what to do. So great points. And I love your point about the MyFitnessPal. I think a great point with that is that although it gives you a sense of your macronutrients and what you're eating, just the fact that you're writing things down, you're going to be more mindful of what you're putting in your body. So as soon as we write anything down, the Lifesaver candy that I just picked up and ate when I'm on my way to this podcast, if I knew I had to write that down, I probably wouldn't have had it.
Right.
So just the fact of writing things down makes us more accountable for what we're putting into our body, and then looking at the impact that has on how we feel. So great points, Rob.
Right. Yeah. And then a good point you made about the shopping, it can be people hate shopping for sure. If you have things written down, you can get what you need. And then maybe once a week, I'll say, I've never cooked with this vegetable. I like cooking. I'm gonna try to do something with this vegetable this week. So, I'll just grab something new, and then that adds in a little bit of variety, and then I just have my favorites that I basically pick up almost every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good point. Another thing, if you really hate shopping, Amazon has a great service. They have food delivery service. You do have to pay for the tip, but I mean the convenience factor on a week that, all right, I have a busy weekend. I just don't feel like going shopping this week. Pay a little bit extra. You go into your there's a Prime Now app. Basically, you just click. You could have your shopping list in one app. You can have the Prime Now app open. You just basically go through, click everything that you need, and within that day, usually you get the food later that night. So I mean, that's really easy. If you hate shopping, so you pay a little bit extra, but that's fine. Now they also have Stop and Shop, and Target has food. You can pick it up, and there's no fee. So you can, again, go online, type in what you need, and then they'll give you a pickup time, and you go and pick up that food when it's ready to go. So if you hate shopping, there are ways around it.
Well, and I think that's what pandemic, it has made it more accessible to get food in different ways, whether it is pick it up at the store, whether it is the delivery, or go to the market. And of course, I'll throw out there the farmers market as well. With springtime coming, many of the farmers markets are opening up, and it's actually a nice time to support the local farms and
Yes.
actually get really local, real food. And again, those tend to be a fun experience as well.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yep.
So we have a question here. Let's jump into this question. Question from Caitlin. Actually, it's not a question, but it's a good point, and maybe we can touch on this. Drinking half your weight in ounces of water a day effective for everyone, is it? I have been doing it for about a month now and have seen a spike in my energy and a glow to my skin and hair. So basically, you're going to tell me I should not be drinking coffee, Caitlin. I appreciate that. Rob said something to me about that. Do you want to touch a little bit on the importance of hydration and water and fluid intake?
Yeah, for sure. So thanks for the question, Caitlin. Yeah, I mean, our bodies are made up of 75% water. So just goes to show you it's super important. We need to keep that water fresh. We need to keep that water moving. A lot of the micronutrients, which is vitamins and minerals we take, are water soluble, meaning they get transferred to our cells because we are drinking enough water. So cellular processes in our organs are working better if we are better hydrated. There's a lot of different studies on mood and concentration, fatigue, attention, focus, and of course physical performance when you are well hydrated. Dehydration, if you're severely dehydrated, you don't feel good. And most people aren't severely dehydrated, but most people walk around.
Looks like we have a frozen Rob. Sometimes you never know what. Here he comes. We are live here, and we looks like we've got an IT glitch from Rob, who's in his home, which is a great place to be because very soon he's going to show us some tricks for his meal preparation and for his nutrition. The moment we're talking about hydration, and I really love the point that Rob just made about that water is really important for getting those micronutrients, those different minerals, those different vitamins to flush them through your body. So hearing about the importance of hydration, not just for the health of our hair and skin, but also as a way to get those, flush those micronutrients throughout our body is really important. Again, for people who are listening, let's see who we have next week. Next week, we're going to be joined by, I believe, Dr. Brendan Boyle. Now, Brendan's going to talk about tips for success for aerobic activities that work for you. Many of you will know Brendan because he is an accomplished and very good runner. However, he, although he's not competing these days, he has a very open mind and appreciation for all the different ways that we can participate in aerobic activity. So it looks like we have Rob back again. He's trying to get back in. And we were just talking about we have Brendan Boyle joining us next week. We finished up discussing the hydration component, but I think let's jump in and let's talk a little bit more about this meal prep and how you go about your meal prep for the week, Rob, to help our listeners with some success, some techniques for success.
Yeah, so once the food is basically, we've talked about basically knowing what to eat, how to get the shopping done, how to simplify that. Now basically all the food is in your house, in your kitchen, it's ready to go. So there's definitely some ways to make that easier. Typically my food prep for my lunches takes about an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending on how fancy I'm getting with my meals for the week. I could do it probably 35 minutes if I'm just using the oven. So it shouldn't take that long. But the food is there. Some things you definitely want to have. I mean, you could do everything in an oven. Most ovens come with 2 racks. You get a 3rd rack, so you can cook a ton in the oven all at the same temp. Might take a little time to just figure out if you're doing, vegetables, proteins, and starches all in the oven at the same time, what the best temperature is going to be and which things to pull out first. So there's a little bit of prep there. But definitely going to want to use an oven. Some of my other kind of gadgets I like, you can see behind me, I got my toaster, I got the Foodie, Ninja Foodie. So definitely some different appliances that you might want to try out. The Ninja Foodie is like a pressure cooker. You can saute, you can bake, you can broil, you can air fry. So a lot of different components in one unit. You can make full meals in it, where you kind of cook it one way and then cook it another style all in one meal. So have multiple different appliances is important, because now you're going to be cooking more at once. You're going to get more done at once.
I'm going to jump in another. What is your another question from Andrew Cooley? And I know that you've got the Ninja Foodie. What's one of your favorite recipes or favorite things to cook in the Ninja Cooley? I need you to inspire me for dinner tonight, actually, is what I'm looking for.
I've done like a beef and broccoli in there that came out really good. And then I did it with some quinoa. So it was like a beef broccoli and quinoa. There's a ton of different, I mean, anything you can think of, but that came out really good. So yeah, check that one out.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's a keto style one where it's just a little more healthy. So, different spices, different things in there. So it's not, cutting down on your carbs a little bit if you want to do that.
Yeah, great. Any other ideas? And we can talk about this whether we're talking about the Ninja Foodie or for your food prep, is thinking about the vegetarians out there, or even those who are fully vegan, and either cutting down or eliminating some of those meat-based or animal products.
Yeah, I mean, I would never be able to do that. I'm not gonna attempt. But I do know there's a bunch of different, I've tried them too. They're not bad, like meat substitutes, different like meatless meatballs. They're made from like pea proteins. They're made from different things. So you can try those alternative meats. Beans is a good alternative. Lentils. Those will give you some more protein. Tofu. There's different ways to get mostly vegetarians are lacking their proteins. So you're going to find different ways to find that. You might think about supplementation at that point. Your nutritionist will probably be able to help you with that, but you might want to supplement a protein shake or something like that if you're deficient there.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get that. So those are some ideas.
We've got a tough internet connection here with Rob. I'll add some other points in for the vegetarians who are out there, and even those who are vegan, is that I do think, and I'm vegetarian, so I can speak to it, is that if you're being a vegetarian because you don't like the really taste of meat, or it doesn't do anything for you, or for whatever reasons that are, you do have to be really mindful, especially iron. Iron is what you're missing when you don't get the meat. So it's not just the protein, but also that iron. So sometimes an iron supplement is needed if you are a vegetarian. So be mindful of the iron. And even a doctor can do a blood test if you're feeling like there could be a deficiency there. But you've just got to be really mindful if you are vegetarian or vegan. Rob gave out great points, and I'll tell you, in our household there's a lot of beans, a lot of lentils, a lot of tofu, tempeh, and really making a conscious effort. And a lot of, although we have a lot of vegetables and spinach and all of those things, a conscious effort to make sure that there is definitely protein within every meal, so you're getting the macronutrients that you need. Just like fat's really important as well, that combination. And if you choose to limit things like meat intake, yeah, you're gonna have to play extra effort to make sure you get those macronutrients that you're missing from meat from other food sources. And don't just think, oh yeah, I'll just live on pasta and sauce. That's not going to work. Don't just change from eating meat and moving it to pasta. You're going to have to choose, macronutrients of the proteins from other sources. But it can be done, and there's great websites, there's awesome recipes out there. Whether you're someone who wants to do the meat substitute so you can pretend you're eating meat, personally to me, I'm like, if you want to do that, then just eat meat itself. But then for other people, then yeah, they will choose just because they want to not always be eating meat. So try them, taste them. It's a fun way to try different recipes as well. All right, let's jump into this meal prep. Back to the meal.
All right. Yeah, I'm still going on meal prep. All right. So kitchen gadgets. The food is here. Kitchen gadgets. You have your recipes ready to go. You got your times ready to go. The other thing you want to get going here is containers. You actually put up a picture right there. But yeah, these food containers are awesome. Pyrex. They last for, I've had these for over a year. Super sturdy. Just don't drop them on the ground. They'll shatter. But otherwise, they'll hold up in the dishwasher. Even the lids, they have this little rubber kind of seal here. Different compartments, keep your food fresh. The food's not touching each other, so that's really nice. And they lock in pretty nicely. So these have lasted me a long time. I got these on Amazon. I'll put in the link. I don't remember the exact link, but I can show you the link later. But you definitely want some sort of container ready to go. So that, so when the food's ready, you can just kind of portion things out. You could use a kitchen scale if you want to get really, really nitpicky about how much you're getting of each, because obviously portion size is important. You don't want to overdo it in any category, but you don't want to underdo it in any category either. Other nice thing about these containers is about 1 cup in each of the different compartments, 1.5 in the other. So kind of from using them, I figured that out. But then you kind of know how much you're getting, at least size wise, maybe not weight wise, but size wise per portion. And then it's all ready to go. Some of my other tips to speed it up, the cleaning process. Everyone hates the cleanup after meal prep. So you can buy the aluminum, throwaway pans, or I'll just use aluminum foil over my baking sheets. I'll spray them with the olive oil, so it doesn't stick to it. Then when the food comes out, basically I'm just throwing that away, and the pan stays fairly clean. Don't really have to do any big scrubbing of these, my pans. So that makes me happy that when I'm done, I'm pretty much done.
You're not following the rule. A good cook always cleans up after himself. So you're following that rule by using little tricks.
Yes.
Yes. What's your favorite? Can you give some suggestions? I mean, because I think that's one of the challenging parts. People are like, oh, I don't know. How do you decide on say it's a Sunday afternoon? You're like, right, this week I'm going to make my lunches for the entire week, but I don't know what I'm going to feel like. So can you give what are some ideas or some of your top things to make for your lunches?
For me, again, I'm not a vegetarian, so
It's okay.
I typically every week I pick 2 proteins. So that's usually a chicken, usually some kind of ground meat, whether that's ground beef, ground turkey. I'm picking two proteins. I'm picking 4 vegetables, and usually 1 to 2 starches. My favorite probably go-to, you can do it all right in the oven. It's super easy. It's fast. Is just chicken cutlets. Again, with a little oil. Definitely have a ton of different spice blends so you don't get tired of chicken, because you can have different spices or different sauces on them. So my favorite would be just chicken cutlets baked, green beans, again in the oven, and sweet potato all in the oven at the same time. Sweet potato can take a little bit longer. Sometimes I'll just honestly throw it in the microwave, a couple minutes on each side, cut it, it's ready to go. Just open it up and I'll just eat out of that. So that's super quick. But yeah, big fan of chicken, sweet potato, green beans. It's plain, it's simple, but again, you can spice it up with different sauces, different spices. Really good, sauce you can try, because some sauces are really sugary. I'm into hot sauces, so I'll put hot sauce on just about everything. Also, liquid aminos or garlic or coconut aminos. They're amino acids. They basically they replace soy sauce. Yeah, so you're getting that sodium down, you're getting that sugar down, and they taste really good. I honestly like them better than regular soy sauce. Yeah, they're a little bit sweeter.
And I think you bring it right as far as the different combinations of flavors. Our brains, you sound like very much a wonderful, I shouldn't say meat and potatoes, a meat and veggie guy. You're like, here's my routine, here's what I'm going to do. Some people, we automatically crave different flavors, different textures, all of those things. So mixing up those different flavor profiles, and just think that many of the herbs and spices have a lot of micronutrients, things like turmeric and ginger. These are all things that actually have underlying impacts on your body's ability to fight pain and are sort of natural anti-inflammatories. So all your different spices and herbs, not the sugar and salt, but everything else actually tends to have some really positive health benefits. So I don't think you're just eating them for flavor. You can actually think that you're being mindful and eating them for their nutritional benefits as well.
Yep.
When it comes to starches, I mean, I'm going to say, are you sticking to your rice and quinoa, or are you going out for looking at barleys and different kinds of grains?
I don't go too crazy with my grains. I like.
You know what? That's so funny. I'm just going to put it out there. Like, how you eat and how I eat are so different.
Right.
Really, which is cool. But what would be really interesting is if we both did the Fitness Pal for a week and what percentage of carbs, proteins, fat, see how close they were. See, like, what's the actual nutrient breakdown at the end of the day? And here's me, who's pretty much plant-based, probably too much coffee and wine, and you, who's very much like meat and veggies and eat the right balance and all of that, and actually compare them. I think would be really interesting. And I think it says a lot about it's okay. You can be Rob, who wants to do that and all that, and I can be like wanting to have crazy salads with all different grains. But the one thing in common is we have to plan it out and figure out how we feel based on what we're eating and being really careful of that.
Right. Hey, and that's how you feel is the most important thing, because so many people, I tried to diet, but I was starving. It was like, I eat a ton. I eat probably 23 to 2,500 calories a day, and I can lose weight on that because I'm eating the right things at the right times and the right macronutrients. So it's really, it's sad to hear that when people say that they're just starving themselves. It's never going to be sustainable. So yeah, it's really, it's important to know different ratios, but what works for you might not work for me just based on preference. And it's good to have variety. So yeah, I'd like to see what you're eating so I can get some different ideas.
I like what I'm doing. There's an interesting book I'm reading at the moment, and it talks about actually our body's ability to adjust itself based on what we're bringing in, the nutrients we're bringing in. So if you are dieting and starving yourself, unfortunately, our bodies have this uncanny ability to change how our metabolism is. So when you start cutting down and starving yourself, having way less calories, what your body does is automatically adjusts itself, and it's still got to work on its basic function. You're still going to get the right you're still going to get the right blood flow and the function of your GI tract. All of that is going to work, but you'll see some other parts of your body start to be impacted, such as your skin and you're here, because those things aren't as important for your underlying well-being. I mean, they're important, obviously. So when you start starving yourself, don't just think you're automatically losing weight. What you're doing is taking away nutrients and your body's ability to keep other systems in your body healthy, and your body gets used to it. So instead of needing 2,000 calories to maintain your regular body weight, you start to only need 1,600 calories. So you're really impacting your metabolism. So being mindful of your nutritional intake, as well as how you're feeling, is really what's going to help you be the healthiest person that you can be.
Yep, for sure. Yep, and people don't realize, I mean, you burn calories by eating. Your body has to break that food down, so there's something to that, and that's why a lot of people say eat multiple small meals throughout the day. That's true. Don't some people do the fasting, and for a certain amount of period, that's fine. I'm not huge on that, but I think eating those right-sized meals placed evenly throughout the day, so that your body is constantly, kind of burning calories and using fuel efficiently. And you're never getting to that point where you're starving, because that's when people fail on their diets too. Because, all right, I didn't eat. I had lunch at noon. I didn't get home till 8 p.m. Now I'm eating, and now I'm just like eating everything. So try to not get into that habit.
And that, again, that's a way of saying, oh, we're going into starvation mode. I need to get those calories in and build up. There's some underlying natural instinct from who we are.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring on either Sarah or Nick is going to join us, and let's see who the lucky winner of our Hypervolt GO is today. Just as a reminder, if you want to sign up and be part of this drawing every week, just go to performanceptri.com/live, and every week you could be a winner. So Sarah, let's see who our winner is today.
All right, our winner is Tanya Valario.
Congratulations, Tanya. We will be reaching out to you. I mean, Rob, I know that you mentioned that you've been using the Hypervolt in the clinic, and I'm guessing you have one at home. Tell us when and how and what you think of the Hypervolt.
Hypervolt is awesome. I mean, to me, it's just a great way. I use it personally for warm up, honestly, because I'm an early riser. I get up, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:15 or so, and I it's my new habit with kids. You gotta find time to work out. So I get up early. You're more stiff in the morning, so get my hydration up, and then I use the Hypervolt. I actually use the app. It's like a 15 to 20-minute session. Couple minutes on the feet, couple minutes on the calves, the quads, basic big muscle groups in the legs. It just it gets me loose. So I use it for that, and then I have it hanging around the house. So if I'm sore, or even at work, we have a few floating around at work. So if I'm sore from a workout, I'll hit a certain area. But yeah, increases blood flow, gets things loose, get you prepped for your workout.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, anything we can do to help people stay healthy and feel good and keep them moving. And again, you just brought up another point. The fact that you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, if I had it my way, that's when I'd be going to bed. So I love how we have these complete opposite routines. It's really fun. It's interesting. All right, let's go into our final 10 seconds of advice for all those listeners out there. Rob, let's hear your famous words of advice.
All right. So final tips. 1, talk to a nutritionist, figure out your nutrient needs. 2, make a weekly nutritional plan and start to implement it. 3, use a food tracking app to help you know kind of where you're at in your nutritional needs. 4, drink more water. Hydro Flask, I drink 4 of these a day. Last one, move well, move often. Get yourself a good physical therapist.
I love it. Rob, Gruttadauria, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I'm going to go fill up my water bottle because that's definitely something where you obviously drink a lot. I don't, but I need to drink more. And I'm going to follow your advice on that one. For everyone else out there, please join us next week at Thursday, 1 o'clock. Post your questions, sign up, share this link with other people. We would love for other people to be able to ask Brennan Boyle questions. Brennan Boyle has some wonderful pink flamingo shorts on in that photograph, and I'm really hoping we can see those next week, Brendan. So I expect to see you show up with your pink flamingo shorts on. All right, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, viewers.